Hello everyone! This is definitely not a Disney movie, okay. Hey guys, I hope you're doing well. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name's Sarah. Today I'm going to be doing another art tutorial, painting with Q-tips. Not the entire painting, but a big portion of it. And I'm curious, what do you personally call that little thing that you're not supposed to stick in your ear to clean it, but we all basically do? Q-tip or cotton swab? Comment below. So I learned this technique from an TheArtSherpa video. I'm gonna have her channel and the video I followed linked in the description box below. She is amazing. I've known about her channel for a few years. I found her through Lindsay, the Frugal Crafter. And since I've been doing more art lately, I'm definitely going to be learning so many more things from both of those ladies, and I'm pretty excited for that. Before we get into the video, I want to let you guys know that I did start posting on my vlog channel again. If you want to check that out, my Live Love Sarah Lynn channel will also be linked in the description box below, as well as that iCard up there. If you never want to miss a new post here, I do post every single Friday. You can go ahead and turn bell notifications on wherever I'm putting that on the screen, and then you'll never miss out. Whoa! Why are you buzzing? Without further ado, let's get into the painting. For this painting, I'm using a very affordable white canvas. I purchased it from Michael's in a value pack, and I think it was like 50% off. Anyway, it's 14 by 14 inches. It's a square, as you can tell, and I'm going to be using acrylic paint to create sort of a gradient wash over the entire thing. So I'm starting out with my darkest color, and I'm using a regular brush. I think it's just a flat brush. You can correct me if I'm wrong. And it's probably like an inch wide. I sound like such a professional painter, guys, I'm not. But here is the thing, when you're using acrylic paint, the easiest way to blend colors and make them wash into each other to create a gradient, you want to use water with your paint or some sort of thinner or medium that'll help your paint extend and make it more smooth and flowy. So I definitely did go in with water to help this be more fluid and just blend more easily. Otherwise, it would have been a mess and it would not have gotten that just smooth transition between the two colors of blue. I wanted there to be more of the lighter blues, so I didn't really extend that darkest blue too far over on the canvas. And I did continue all the way until I got to the lime green, which I also didn't want a very big area of on the canvas. You probably will need 2 coats, and even when you're not using water, a lot of times you'll need 2 coats of the acrylic paint for the background. So I did let this first layer dry, and then off camera I went over and touched up any areas that had those white spots or like just any like visible brush strokes that were not supposed to be there. And you can see that I got some darker colors on there, a violet and a navy blue, and now the Q-tips are coming into play. Sorry if you guys are disappointed I didn't paint that entire background with Q-tips, but I am being practical here. So I'm going to bunch these Q-tips together and create kind of like a bigger brush out of them, quote unquote. To do this, I'm using a rubber band to tie them together or hold them together. You could use string or duct tape or, you know, anything else that'll hold them together. I think Cinnamon used hair ties in her video, which is basically the same concept as the rubber bands. So for the biggest brush I'm going to be using, I just grouped 6 Q-tips together, and I think she did that as well. So here I'm creating they're like flowery leaves on the tree. It's a wisteria tree, kind of like a form of weeping willow that blooms and blossoms into flowers. I believe that Cinnamon called these tendrils in her video. I definitely don't know the correct terminology. Clearly, I'm also not an expert on trees. I mean, I know that trees have branches and trunks and leaves and buds and blossoms. But moving on, I did decide that that bunch of 6, it was really only good for the most clustered areas at the very top. So when I did want to achieve thinner sections, I made a smaller group of 3 Q-tips. So here, I am demonstrating that, and I'm switching back and forth between the two. The reason that this section is so dark is because it's going to be the background of the tree, like the part of the tree that's further away from you, the side that you're not actually seeing. So this is the underside, and it's going to be more in shadow than the front, if that makes sense. So here I'm just letting you guys see that after a bunch of pouncing with these Q-tips, the ends are going to flatten out quite a bit, and it's not necessarily a bad thing because you don't really need to have perfect circles whatsoever, but you can flip it around and use the other side if that bothers you. And here I'm demonstrating that it does make a difference. So if you don't press as hard on the canvas, they're gonna stay nice and rounded for longer, and you can continue to use that same set for quite a while. Personally, I used my bunch of 6 this entire time. I didn't swap them out, and I also just used one side of the bunch of 3. So these can last for basically the entire piece if you want them to. And it may depend on if you're using the name brand Q-tips or another type of cotton swab from, say, the dollar store. I'm not really sure how the quality is going to vary there. Something that I find kind of interesting is, at least in the USA, most people call cotton swabs Q-tips, and they call all tissues Kleenex. And then there are parts of the country that call all pop or all soda Coke, which is not something I've ever done. I call it pop, so sorry for those of you who hate that word, but I don't drink it. This is why you don't put your desk by a window. The blinds are not cutting it, or maybe because I don't have curtains. Maybe that is my fault, user error. But the sun has shifted since I moved in. I moved in the spring. I had no issues then, but come end of summer-ish and early fall, yeah, this happens every single late morning, afternoon time. So I have to kind of like schedule my filming around this now. It actually looks kind of pretty, I guess, but here we go. A couple hours later in the day, I came back to the painting and continued to film for you guys. So here I am adding a little bit of white to make some color variation here. I still wanted it to be dark, but not quite the same exact color everywhere. And this shows up a lot better on the canvas too. So now we're taking a little break. My cat decides that paintbrushes are fun. He just always enjoys stealing them from my bag or the desk, and he just has a blast with them. So here's a little bit of his shenanigans. His name's Willow, by the way, if you guys are new here. And he always makes me smile, even if I don't see this paintbrush again for like a month because he knocks it under the fridge or something. All is well. Okay, so now I have all the purple down. This is all I want to do for that part, and I'm gonna leave it alone. You don't have to really saturate the very top part of this because we are gonna be going over that later with more of the blossoms. So yeah, I just didn't even pay attention that there's blue coming through that part, and plus, you know, a little bit of the sky will come through naturally anyway. So you can see that I used a chalk pastel piece here to sketch out the tree trunk because I don't trust myself. Unlike Cinnamon, I don't trust myself to just paint this on. Hey, I accidentally made it in the clip, and did you guys know that I actually wear glasses and contacts? A couple years ago I did make a vlog about getting glasses. I don't really wear them here just because of like the glare, and I'd rather wear contacts. So yeah, there's that fun fact. But here I finished the little sketch part for the branches and the trunk, and I am just taking black acrylic paint and an angled brush, and I'm going to paint that entire area, not getting out of the white lines, but if I do, it's fine. That's kind of the shape that I was going for. And if you do mess up with the chalk, it's no big deal. I learned this from the TheArtSherpa's video, so thank you for that tip. It's gonna come in handy a lot in my painting future. All you have to do is get a damp paper towel and wipe it off with a little tiny bit of water. So then I switched to a small detailing brush for the top parts of the branches that get really skinny. I did go back and change the like the texture of the trunk because I want to make this tree look like it's twisting. So it kind of looks like the Michelin Man, that guy who is like a marshmallow tied up in like rubber bands. I don't know what he has on him, honestly. It looks like it has a bunch of foam around it that's like tied with rubber bands or something. But no, this is just going to act as the swirl part of the tree to make it look like it's twisted together. So I did go in with a very dark gray that's just enough of a difference to show up on the black. So for that, I just added a tiny bit of white to the black until it got to the shade or tint. This was the longest part of the piece. It took me probably 2 hours, maybe 2.5. Like, it took a very long time for me to figure out how I wanted to do the lines. I actually painted over a lot of them because I didn't like how it had turned out, and I had to use a lot of water to thin the paint here. If you are getting frustrated because the lines aren't painting on as fluid as you want them to, add water. Not too much though, because you want it to still be opaque, but yeah, that was a lifesaver. And I did continue these lines down all the way, so I did use the black paint to correct areas that I didn't like, so it was kind of like a blackout instead of a whiteout. And if the lines ended up too thick or wide, I also would use a detailing brush to just put black over that and make them thinner. After that, I went in and I made really tiny flowy strokes to create blades of grass. And the trick to this is you want to start in the black area of the shadows. You don't want to start on the colors, or the base of the blade of grass will be too thick and it'll just go up too high. I mean, it's obviously personal preference how you want your style to be, like how you want the grass to look, but this is just something I figured out, and I actually had tested on the side of the canvas first to make sure that it would work correctly and that I had added the right consistency of water to make it just the right opacity and fluidity and everything. Okay, so that part did not take a very long time, and I am moving on to the final step, which is to just add more of the blooms to the tree, and this will be the foreground, so these are the ones that are facing out, and I want them to be a lot lighter and have more color variety to them. So lots of white, light purple, kind of like a fuchsia-y pink color as well in there, and it just turns really, really beautiful, this blend of colors on top of the shadow ones. I love the variety here and just the depth, and I don't know, everything about this. I'm just so proud that I was able to create this because I did not think it would turn out this well. I'm very happy with it. I may go back and do a few touch-ups and adjustments, but for the most part, here it is finished. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up to let me know. Also, turn bell notifications on so you never miss out when I upload every single Friday. And if you want to see my behind the scenes life, go ahead and check out my vlog channel. Subscribe to Live Love Sarah Lynn. I'm going to be posting there every single Saturday, and there is a haul coming tomorrow. Shout out again to the Art Sherpa. Be sure to check out her channel. I will link it below. I hope you guys have a great rest of the day, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!